Yo, what's up guys, Insane Game for a Kid. I'm here to bring you One Piece Pirate Warriors review. Oh, right. There's no physical release in America. Well, picking up my PS3 it's just too much fucking effort. I can't be bothered, so on with the review. Okay, so I'm warning you now, this is probably going to be kind of long, because I got a lot of things to say on like a few different levels, but let's just go ahead and start off with the game itself. Okay, so Pirate Warriors is a game that I believe came out like about a year ago, and we just got it a few months ago. At least America did, and I think Europe got it, I think about a week earlier than we did. But the whole point is that Pirate Warriors is in a Dynasty Warrior style gameplay, meaning you're doing a lot of running around, beating up a shit ton of enemies, using a lot of One Piece world character movesets. Now, from the get-go, you get to play as Luffy. And what you're essentially doing is the game takes place right after the time skip. Like, literally right after the whole everyone meets back up at Shibondi and they're just chilling on the boat. That's when it takes place. Because the first level is the tutorial level, which is the Shibondi stuff when you see time skip Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji. Mind you, those are the only characters you see in time skip, period. That's just as a side note. Like, you don't see time skip Robin, or Nami, or Chopper, or Usopp, or Frankie, or Brook. I think, yeah, those are the only ones I'm missing. So, if you're looking for time skip stuff, you're not going to get it. Essentially what's happening is that they're on the boat after the time skip, and they're reminiscing about stuff and mentioning things that, you know, obviously certain crewmates don't know. Like, I think, like, a lot of the cutscenes actually take place in the context of Brook being there, and them talking about it. And obviously, since Brook doesn't know anything, like, he doesn't know anything about any of the arcs, they're reminiscing. And as they're reminiscing about the arcs, you're playing through the arcs again. You're playing through the story mode of those arcs. That's pretty much what the main point of the game is. So, you're going through pretty much the majority of the canon arcs in One Piece. Now, I say the majority because you're not going through all of them. There's actually a lot of them you're skipping, which kind of ticks me off for two reasons. One, just as a fan reason, and two, just because it would have created a lot more diversity in the levels. What I'm particularly referring to, I'm actually going to go down the entire list of canon One Piece arcs and then talk about which ones they skipped, okay? Just to give you an idea. Okay, Cap Morgan and Alvida are skipped. Buggy's in the game. You then get Kuro, that's skipped. Then you get Don Krieg, which is in the game, okay? Next up, I believe, is Arlong, which is in the game. And then you have Logtown, which is skipped. So about 4 skips so far, 3 canon. Okay, now we're on the Grand Line. And I'm going to combine Laboon and Whiskey Peak, not to be a dick about it, which are skipped. And then they skipped Little Garden, which is 6. They've skipped Little Garden. We got Alabasta. And then we move on to Skypiea and Jaya, which are both skipped, which is about 8 now. But we do get Water 7. Oh, and they skipped Davy Backfight, which is 9. But then we do get Water 7 and CP9. So we got about 7 here. 7 to 9 now. Oh, wait, they skipped Through the Bark. 10. Oh, look. Wait, no. Okay, and then Chaponi they gave us. So it's... So... I actually lost count. Fuck me. Shibondi. They give us Shibondi. They skip Amazon Lily. They give us Impel Down. They give us Marineford. So it's about even when I think about it. Or either that or like this is like one higher than the other. But the whole point is they skipped a lot of arcs. Now mind you, a lot of those arcs I'm not really infuriated about. The only ones I kind of wish they had kept was at the very least the Skypiea and Through the Bark. And the reason why is because they had the most diversity. In Skypiea, you're fighting either fucking Shandian warriors or the Sky Island people. Why wouldn't you put that in a Musou game? That's a good variety of enemies. Mind you, it's not like the enemies are that goddamn simple in the game to begin with, but they kind of blend together because they're all either like pirates or marines, and they're like standard for each. Actually, half of the time you're fighting mainly marines in like the second half of the game, whereas like the first half you're fighting pretty decent amount of pirates. Through the Bark had zombies, so I'm like, why didn't you keep that in there? Plus that Through the Bark has probably one of the best potentials for a boss fight. Oars, that would have been epic in the game. And then you could constantly switch out Straw Hats in the game, but here's the problem with that. you can only play as Luffy in the story mode. Even after you beat the game, you can only play as Luffy in the story mode. The closest thing they got to rectify that is to have the characters play in something called another log, which another log is essentially the same levels, but not as hard, I believe. Like, it's literally the same levels in story mode, but it's not story mode. And you can play as all the characters into that. And you're probably wondering which characters you can unlock. Well, you can unlock all 9 Straw Hats, but besides that, you can unlock Boa Hancock, Ace, Whitebeard, and Jinbei. Yeah. One Piece, the series with 1 million characters, and you can only lock 4 extra ones besides the Straw Hats. Now, to talk about some other things, the aesthetics of the game. I mean, the game looks great. The game looks fucking beautiful. I don't have any problems with the way the game looks. The game doesn't look bad. Everything moves smoothly, even with there's like shit tons of enemies on the game, and the game is fun. The story mode, I didn't really mind playing as Luffy straight, but I kind of hate the fact that you can't go back and play the story mode with other Straw Hats. The other problem I have with the fucking another log shit and the other Straw Hat members is if you play certain arcs, the game will act like you beat the game. Like, I'll give you an example. I was messing around playing with Boa Hancock, I think Boa Hancock and Robin, and like the Chapondi and Marineford stages, and if you beat those stages in another log, the game will actually show like CGI story mode clips and then act like the game is ended and do the fucking credits. Oh, there's one other thing, you can't fucking skip the credits. Which means even if I play Marineford in story mode, I think it was Marineford and Chapondi, if you play in story mode for some stupid reason, you go to the CGI cutscenes. No. What it was is I hadn't unlocked like Impel Down or some shit. So in another log, if you beat certain levels in another log, it will act like you beat the game and you can't skip credits. And that annoyed the shit out of me. So even replaying levels annoy the hell out of me. At least in that aspect. Now the game gives you this cool level up system because it doesn't give you every move out of the game. Now you're probably wondering what moves are you being restricted from? Your specials. That's the only moves you're being restricted from. Everything else you can use. Which for Luffy means you can't come out the gate gear seconding everything. Actually, let me rephrase that, because when you play with him in the tutorial mode, you're time skip Luffy. Meaning you have elephant gun and fucking gear second and all that shit. Whereas when you actually get to the next level, you're just basic Luffy, and the only thing you can do is like gun pistol, which is actually the first special. But Luffy has like the most specials out of every character. At the very most I've seen besides Luffy is like 2. Like Sanji and Zoro only have 2 specials. And yeah, they are the ones you want. And as far as staying true to the series with the arcs they do portray in the game, they do a good job. The only other problem I have part of the storytelling is the fact that they do the stupid, I'm going to tell you what happened in this arc, and then you're going to play it. And, you know, for the first game of this line, I'm hoping there's a second one, and I hope it does get a release over here. I would kind of like it if it was just like cutscenes, because as I said, the animation and the models are straight. They're like really good. So I'm like, just show fucking cutscenes. And what makes it worse, they still show cutscenes. They just don't show everything. Now, if you're probably wondering, does it do what DBZ does in their games and abridge certain things? Yes, they do. It's not as offensive though, but you can see a lot of different parts. And just going back to the skipping arcs thing, it kind of bugged me that it skips arcs that characters are introduced in. Mind you, remember, Usopp is introduced in Kuro. They skip Kuro, so they just kind of like, so when you get the Dawn Creek shit, you just hear about Usopp joining the ship in the text, and I'm like, yeah, that's kind of lame. Also, not every characters are in certain moments. Like for example, when Zoro loses the Mihawk, you know where Usopp technically brings him into the boat with Johnny and Yosaku. Neither Usopp, Johnny Yosaku, or Usopp or Johnny Yosaku, or they're not in the boat. Like Zoro literally just falls in the same area he got cut down. He doesn't fall in the water. He just falls on the side of the damn platform, and he does the whole thing. Which, you know, abridging, I didn't really have I knew that was going to happen as a game. I don't want it to be exactly like the anime. The biggest instance of this is actually at the end of the game at Marineford. I'm not going to spoil it, but that ending boss fight was actually really, really good, and I fucking enjoyed the shit out of that fight. So the abridging isn't something I hate. It's just it's kind of a One Piece fan nitpick. Like, if I had to choose between that and getting arcs, I'm like, just give me the fucking arcs. I don't really care if you abridge them that much. Because they don't do anything offensive with the abridging. As far as the combos go, I mean, I think they took advantage of the fact that the One Piece characters all have different fighting styles. And you can see they went into the effort of programming that for each character. Now, there is another nitpick I fucking hate. And this one was something that bugged me when I first saw the trailers and the levels for the game. None of the characters really off the bat have switchable clothes. They're all rocking the same fucking outfits the entirety of the game. The only character who gets the switch after you beat a stage outfits is Luffy. Luffy has the majority of his outfits he actually has in the goddamn game, in the series. Like, I think, what was his Shiboni outfit is blue. His Impel Down outfit was yellow. He even gets his time skip clothes after you beat the game. Like, he gets all range of his outfits. Whereas every other Straw Hat is in the same goddamn clothes. And if you want to switch their clothes, you have to buy the DLC, which is $15. Which is on top of the $50 the Americans have to pay to get this fucking thing on DLC. Which is another thing I'm going to complain about. Because honestly, for a DLC title, it's the same amount as a Wii game. And guess what? At least I get to fucking own a physical copy of the Wii game. Why the fuck is it that much as a downloadable title? This is the thing I want to mention to Bandai. Don't fucking say that you're trying to, like, you're testing the grounds, like you don't trust the American. I get it. One Piece isn't the most popular property in America. But here's the thing that bugs me. You can't expect people to want to buy this when you make it kind of unreasonable. If I want the game, I have to spend as much as I spend for a Wii game, and I don't even get a physical copy. Oh, and I don't get to play it as soon as I get it. I have to fucking wait until it downloads and then installs and shit, which is annoying in itself. And if I want any of the extra costumes, which aren't even their, like, different arc outfits, it's actually just, like, shit from color pages, which is cool for DLC, but it just irks me in the game that Luffy switches outfits every fucking arc, but no other character does that. Like, Boa Hancock's in her fucking Marineford outfit because they skipped Amazon Lily. And it's annoying I have to buy the DLC to get her fucking original outfit. Also, by the way, the American DLC is packaged into one big ass thing for $15, whereas the European release, you got they were like I think like 3 or 4 different packs of like 3 characters each, and you got to pick and choose which packs you wanted. Because maybe I didn't want all the fucking DLC clothes for certain characters. I didn't really care about getting every damn outfit. Like Nami's Strong World outfit. I didn't really give a shit about that. I know J-Man did, but I didn't give a shit about that. So I thought that was kind of dickish too. It's like, you can't say you're trying to do us a favor, but then like dick us around with it. Like, come on, Bandai. It's like, that's bullshit. You know, I'm saying Bandai. I'm not even sure if Bandai releases the game. I want to say it is Bandai though. And it just kind of annoys me. It's like you charge $50 for a game, and if I wanted the DLC packs for like one of the characters, I can't do that in America. I have to spend the entire $15 on the fucking. So I'm spending $65 for DLC, half of which I didn't necessarily want, and then like the $50 for a game. At $65 I spent on this fucking thing, and I have nothing to show you unless I turn on the TV and plug up the game, which is just kind of dickish to me. Personally, a DLC game should not be the same price as any physical copy game. Any new physical copy game, it should not be the same price. Plus, this thing's been out for over a year in Japan. Why the fuck are we spending $50? It should have been at least $40 is the highest I would have accepted. And even then, I still think that's kind of much, but I would have accepted $40. $30 to me is kind of a fair price though. Because it's not even like a game you can play with a lot of people, because as we know, One Piece isn't the most popular game in America, so like, if you're trying to play with any US fans, it's not going to be necessarily huge. So that just irked the shit out of me. But going back to the clothing situation, which is what I originally was talking about, why the fuck can you give us the other outfits? And also, why the fuck are like some of the outfits like not even in the goddamn series? Give you an example. Zoro at the beginning of the game is rocking his CP9 outfit. Why is Zoro rocking his fucking... And I'm talking about in the cutscenes. Like, in the fucking cutscenes that you can only play as Luffy, mind you, during the story mode of the game. Why in the fuck are they in like these completely different outfits? That irks me just because of how stupid it is. It's not like the outfits are offensive. Oh, also, I love how Nami is the only character rocking an outfit that doesn't even exist in the series. If anyone doesn't know, that pink outfit she rocks in the game isn't even the outfit that's not even in the series. I don't know where the fuck that's from. That's not from a color page. A color page. That's from nothing. They literally made her an outfit as if Nami didn't have like 16 different other outfits she rocked. And and that's the other thing. Some of these characters are rocking outfits that don't exist in certain arcs. Like, for example, Usopp's rocking his fucking posts in his lobby outfit for some fucking reason. Chopper's just kind of basic. Like, they mainly stuck with CP9 looks. Which, and Brooke, and I think it's like, what, Brooke and Frankie are like the only two, Brooke, Frankie, and Chopper are the only three characters who are rocking their original looks. As far as non-strides. Now, and for some, and like Jinbei, I think Jinbei's in his normal clothes, and so is Whitebeard, but why the fuck is Boa Hancock in Marineford outfit and our Amazon Lily outfit? What the fuck? Like, this is nitpicking. I will admit this, but at the same time, it's still fucking stupid and annoying. I'm like, why the fuck did you do this? Now, let's talk about going back to the game, the gameplay, which is the main thing we care about here. But as a One Piece fan, I gotta address these things because other One Piece fans are the only people who are gonna be getting this game because it's not really fairly priced. I'm not saying not saying there won't be non-One Piece fans that get this game, but a lot of people would suggest this would be a good way to introduce people to the series. Kinda, because it's still lazily telling the stories of the series. And then the smile, the bridging, and skipping arcs where characters are introduced, which irks the shit out of me. I would not use this game to introduce someone to One Piece in the sense of getting into the story. Now, if you want to get into the series and see how weird and kooky it is, this is perfectly fine. But, like, other than that, no. Also, there's another thing I want to mention. Now, I said you can only play as Luffy in the story mode mainly through the game. Well, there are, like, I think there's like 2 sections where you do get to play as Zoro and Sanji. And this is the part that irks the shit out of me too. Considering half of the Straw Hats are in the majority of these fucking arcs, and they all have fights they do have in the series, why in the fuck can you only play as Luffy? Why don't you get to play all their boss fights too? And what I'm referring to is that the only time you get to play as like someone else is fucking, if I remember right, is goddamn Sanji and Zoro during the Enies Lobby boss fights where you get to fight Kaku and Jabura. You know what irks me about this though? I could have swore Frankie had a fight, Chopper had a fight, Nami had a fight. Why the fuck aren't they playable in the goddamn fights? Same thing for Alabasta. You only play as Luffy in Alabasta, by the way. So there is no Mr. 1 fight. There is no Mr. 2 fight. There is no Miss 3 or Merry Christmas fight. Like, this game could have been a lot better considering all the material you had to work with. Which is the other problem I have. It's like, there's so much shit you could have done. I mean, mind you, beggars can't be choosers. I mean, it's the first game in the series, so I'm kind of willing to cut it some slack. That kind of irks me, though. Like, some of these things they don't do, it just bugs the shit out of me. It's like, these are like tiny things you could have done. Now, for the gameplay itself, it's perfectly fine. I don't really have any glaring issues. The only problem I have in terms of the gameplay is regarding the platforming sections where a lot of it is automated in the sense that when Luffy jumps, you can't manually jump. What you have to do is you have to run near a ledge and press X while you're at the ledge and he'll automatically jump. Also, they have a lot of platforming relating around him stretching and pulling himself to places, which for the most part works. I think it's kind of overly simplified to the point where it's kind of like, why do you have a platforming section here when when half of it's automated? It's like, everything's quick. And also, if you're not a fan of quick time events, you're gonna kind of hate this game because that's literally what you're doing the majority of the time in the story mode anyway. So that's the other thing that should be mentioned. But I don't know, like the platforming wasn't really bad, but there was just like this Water 7 platforming stage irked the shit out of me. Like especially the wall jumping, that bugged the hell out of me. I didn't really mind it too much anywhere else, but I think it was Alabasta partially, and then Water 7 just irked the shit out of me. I was like, good God, I fucking hate platforming sections in this game. I was so glad it didn't get any worse than that. There also are a few other moments you do play as certain Straw Hats, but it's like, I know there's one more Water 7 boss fight you do, but I don't know. As far as the gameplay, I'm not really irked. Ironically, the gameplay is the thing that irks me the least about this game. Everything else is what kind of irks the shit out of me. Like, and here's the other thing that bugs the fuck out of me. Now, it's a video game, so I'm not going to be too harsh, but it still ticks me off. For some random reason, they chose to have only like 2 or 3 scenes where the characters look battle damaged during a boss fight or just a fight in general. But for some stupid reason, the rest of the game... Oh, also, I skipped Drum Island. I just realized that. Drum Island's in the game too. I don't know why I skipped that when I was going over the arcs. But the thing that irks me is like the battle damage. Why is it there like a few times but not there all the time? Like, what was stop? And it pisses me off because there are scenes where it should have been there and it looks so bad when it's not there. And I'm just like, okay, the game, I guess they're just not doing that for the game. And then you see scenes where they do it and I'm like, what the fuck? Like the Drum Island scene where he gets shot with the cannons. Luffy's holding the flag, he gets shot with the cannons. He's battle damaged. He's even battle damaged, I think, at the beginning of that fight or some shit. But Zoro getting cut. No blood splatters. No even slash, like, on his body. That irked the shit out of me, too. What was the other thing? Oh, this fucking Rob Lucci fight. Good God, that looked so bad, considering, you know, how much shit he goes through in the anime. Why is there no damage on either of these characters? And I think it's there for certain cutscenes and then just it disappears again. I'm like, what the fuck? Why don't you make up your fucking mind? Either don't give us the battle damage or give us the battle damage. I don't want to see it in like 2 or 3 scenes and then not see it anymore. It's bullshit. I'm sorry. And I know I'm ranting as hell on this game. And I understand this is kind of a big issue for the series because it doesn't get that much love in America as far as games go. So if I want this to do well, I'm going to encourage you to buy it. But as a gamer, I'm not going to just try to push the game on you without realistically telling you the things you're not going to like about it. But as I said, the things I'm mainly talking about are cosmetic things. Like, as far as the gameplay is concerned, nothing really pisses me off too much, except for the fucking platforming sections. And mind you, that's a goddamn taste thing. You know, you may view that shit differently. The online stuff is fun. You do have online. The online is pretty much you get to have you and your friend go through a Muso match. The problem with the damn game, the online is really just simply the damn matches are short as fuck. The matches are really short. Like, literally, me and George played. We went through like 5, 6 or 7 matches in like 20 minutes. These matches are short, especially when you have 2 characters and the whole point of the match is just to beat up every fucking territory on the screen and then go to the main one to beat the bosses at the end, which aren't necessarily hard because it's fucking 2 people on these bosses. And if you went out of the way to grind your level, you were gonna rape these fuckers. Like, literally. I think, what was it, like, George was playing with Ace and I was playing with Luffy. And that nigga, it's not even like you need 2 people to take that fucker out. Literally, you can take that dude out with like 1 special if you know what you're doing or if you're a high enough level. Which I probably should talk about the RPG effect. There is a cool thing in this game, and I know I'm like how long into the damn thing and I'm just not talking about the other shit, but they have a coin system in this game, and I do like this for multiple reasons. The coin system is like the system. It's kind of like your power-up system. You have like slots that you unlock the more levels you get. I think the most you can get is 9, and you can set these things up. They all have different abilities like stamina, speed, strength, specials, defense, and shit like that. You're kind of like beefing up your character while doing these things, and each coin has a different ability, and they all represent like something in the One Piece universe, which is actually pretty cool. And on top of that, if you know your One Piece trivia a lot, you can like line up 3 that relate to a certain special ability and unlock it. Like, for example, if you line up Garp, Ace, and Luffy, you get like the Happy Family special ability on top of their already, you know, the things they're giving you in general. I like that. That was a cool thing to put in the game. The RPG side is actually pretty, I'm not gonna say it's really, really deep, but it tests you on your One Piece knowledge, and I will say I enjoy that as a fan of the series. That was pretty fun. Still need to do all of them. Some of them are kind of hard because some characters, you need to get all the coins for one, and it's not just the characters. It's like pirate flags and fucking, what was it, pirate flags and like items and shit. So it's kind of hard because you got to figure out what things correlate with what things. Also because certain characters aren't in there, so certain things don't make sense. Like, I'll give you one right now. I think you have to put Hachi, Jinbei, and Arlong on there, and it has the Sun Pirates on there, which obviously for manga and anime fans, as of now, you should know that shit didn't come up until Fishman Island, even though this game doesn't take place in that. So I was like, what the fuck? Why the fuck is the Sun Pirates an unlockable in this shit when the game isn't even when there's no Fishman Island material in the game? Why the fuck? Like, so you gotta look at everything. Which was weird as shit to me when I first found that. I was like, what? Did I even have Fishman Island in the game? And at the time, oh fuck it, I'm not gonna talk, but you get the whole point. The coin system is actually pretty cool. As far as the other modes you get, it's literally just like another log, story mode, online. There's not much to do in the game, to be perfectly honest. And that's the other problem. Considering there's not too much to do in the game, there's not even like a versus mode or a tournament mode you can do. It's literally just, I mean, simply put, you're really just going through the story, playing online matches, and just fucking leveling up your character, which is the other beef I want to talk about. And yeah, I do have a lot of problems with this game. It's still, I'll put it this way, it's still probably the best One Piece game we've gotten, period. But I'm not really saying much, considering you're comparing it to games where you spent the majority of your time looking for items to make shit to fucking get to another part of the game. Unlimited Adventure, I'm looking at you, you fucking time waster. And the funny thing is, I haven't even 100% of that game yet. That game's been out in America for 5 years. I still haven't 100% that game. I beat the game, but that's besides the point. The leveling up thing that pisses me off. Luffy will probably be your highest level character purely because he's the character that gets the most experience because you go through the entire game with him. Now, why wouldn't that count for the other characters? Well, since I have to do them from level 1 and do the story mode, and as I said, the another log is easier than the story mode, and it's shorter too, because remember, there are different types of stages in the story mode. It's not just the Muso stages where you're grabbing territories. He also has the platforming stages, which still has enemies in it. You can still fight. You have the boss stages, and I think actually, I think those are the 3 types: boss, platforming, and then just like Muso stages where you're grabbing territories. Whereas in another log, you only do Muso versions of the stages. That's all you're doing. You're not doing the platforming or the boss battles. So it takes them longer to level up. And on top of that, even with Luffy having all that extra experience, you know what level Luffy is for me right now? I think it's like 37. 30 fucking 7. And after a certain point, these characters, like, some of these fucking, what is it? Some of these guys, oh, well, there's another mode I'll talk about in a second. But the other thing is that none of these enemies really give out a shit ton of experience. Like, they don't have, like, beefed up enemies for when your level gets higher. Meaning that Luffy will take you fucking forever to level, even running through an entire Muso stage with him. Because the enemies don't get stronger to coordinate with your level. Meaning you're going to have to go back and grind the shit out of the levels. Mind you, you're encouraged to replay the levels anyway to get all the coins and shit. But it's just fucking annoying that they don't have just stronger enemies that give out more experience. You're actually just like kind of trapped in this stupid grinding loop. So after you get to a certain level, you're just kind of not leveling up really at all until you play the damn stage like 50 fucking times. Even playing Marineford like 15 times, y'all probably still can level up Luffy. Seriously, that's how ridiculous it is. Oh, and the other mode I forgot to mention is the challenge mode, which is where some of the DLC goes, which is the challenge maps. I haven't played too many of these. I will say they are fucking challenging, and luckily you can level up in these maps. But that's like that's the best place to level grind, because one of the challenges is that you have to beat like a fucking 1,000 enemies and shit. So those are like the best places to level, but you would only want to do that with lower level characters, even though some lower level characters take you forever to do. Also, some of these challenge maps you actually have to sit on easy because of how fucking hard they are. Because you know, each character plays differently. Like, Luffy's probably the easy version of the game in itself. So, but every other character has a learning curve to it, which kind of irks the shit out of you that there's even a level suggestion box for each challenge. Like, I tried to beat the stage with Boa Hancock, who was like 8 levels higher than what they were asking for a character to be at the minimum at. Still fucking lost the challenge. You wanna know why? Because Boa Hancock controls completely different from Luffy. Half of her combos, for some stupid ass reason, when you finish one of Boa Hancock's combos, she like freezes in place for like a split second, which causes you not being able to move for a second, and then like takes some time off your fucking clock that's running down while you're trying to kill all these enemies. And it's Muso style, so you have to beat a amount of enemies in one spot, then the gates open, and you run to the other area and beat up a amount of enemies and shit. It's ridiculous. Like, I can barely beat that fucking thing when I set the damn challenge to easy, and I have to keep spamming a certain combo. I can't spam all the combos because certain combos make her slow. Like, I think her square combo, she does like this cartwheel kick. That's like the only thing I can really use. Because other ones, like when she's using Salome to attack people, is just slow as fuck. I don't know why she pauses like that. Zoro is kind of overpowered in a lot of these stages. Nami's kind of useless. Usopp is frustrating as fuck to use in Muso stages because his initial 2 attacks don't do damage. You know, I think there was another game where he was like that. I think that was in Unlimited Adventure where he would like shoot the slingshot and the first 2 shots wouldn't do anything, but fucking the 3rd shot would like take out like a good amount of damage. That's how he is. And in Muso games, it's like, Jesus Christ, fucking move, Usopp. Chopper has the same fucking problem. When he's tiny, his attacks, he's so tiny that it's so hard to hit anything. Mind you, there's a shit ton of enemies on the screen, so it's not that frustrating, but when you only got like 3 or 4 on the damn screen at the end of like the giant horde, it is so frustrating to hit them fucking things. Also, Chopper has a delay in his combos too, because in his attacks, he goes from like small to like heavy point in the middle of his shit, which is kind of like, yeah. Sanji's pretty simple to use. Frankie has, with Frankie, I give you pros and cons with Frankie. Frankie is like true to the series, but it's not really fun as a gameplay mechanic. Because Frankie runs on cola, there's actually a cola meter when you're using Frankie in the game. And if you run out of cola, he then gets tired after every one of his combos, which is fucking annoying. And you have to hit R2 and have him refill, which has you fucking vulnerable for like 5 seconds and then you're screwed. Which in a Muso game is kind of dangerous because, you know, there's motherfuckers coming at you all the goddamn time anyway. So I'm like, Jesus fucking Christ, let me live. There's a lot of stupid things. It's like the game is, you know, it's probably the best One Piece game we've had in a while, but there's still a lot of fucking things wrong with the game. I haven't even talked about, like, Whitebeard is actually pretty overpowered, but as I said, he's slow as shit. Him and Boa Hancock has a delay. Whitebeard is just slow. Like, and also, because he's so fucking big, you kind of, like, miss characters. Jesus. Oh, God. And that's kind of bad because it makes people not want to, you know, level grind for these characters. Like, it has to be fun with every character for you to do that. But they like made certain characters delayed. They gave certain characters like random handicaps. And I mean, obviously it's fitting with the style of the character, but as a gameplay mechanic, I'm just like, Jesus Christ, let me whoop their asses. It's like Whitebeard's too big, so he can't hit anything sometimes. So you have to give him these ridiculously destructive attacks, which only work at the end of a combo. So if you're fighting like Aokiji or Kizaru or something, you're kind of fucked in the middle of your combo. Who else have I not talked? Ace is pretty standard. Ace is fine, honestly. Also, if anyone's wondering, the hockey shit doesn't mean shit in the game. And Brook has that same problem. He's fucking kind of delayed. Mind you, you kind of get used to it with Brook for some stupid reason, but he's still kind of delayed. But all the characters, they still stick true to their fighting styles. It's just that you kind of don't want to play with certain characters because of how delayed they are. Mind you, I'm a Boa Hancock fanboy, so I'm going to play with her regardless. Robin is kind of hard to fight with because she's so vulnerable like all the time. Like, legitimately, she's vulnerable all the time because obviously when you're pressing the square button, she's not moving. The fucking hands out of the ground are. So you have to come out, you have to use, which I guess in a sense puts a layer of depth into the game. But, I don't fucking know. But at the end of all this rambling and ranting and kind of bitching about the game, honestly, this has been more of a negative than a positive review. Which kind of leads into my whole point about the end of this, about this game in general. Because now I have to sit here and tell you if I would recommend it to you. If you're a One Piece fan, I say go for it. I'm kind of talking to the Americans strictly here because you're the guys that the price shit isn't gonna matter to any of you other guys, but the Americans I'm talking to. If you're a fan of like extra challenge maps and like extra clothes and strong road outfits and samurai outfits and shit, and maybe the original outfit for fucking Boa Hancock or the strong road outfit for Nami, you're gonna want the DLC too. And personally, to me, $65 for this kind of is way too much to me. I don't know why the DLC start like $15. It's kind of annoying. But if you want my opinion on buying it, I know it just went on sale on PlayStation Plus, so I would jump on that. But I kind of wait until it goes down a little because it's not really worth getting right now, unless it's cheap. Like I wouldn't pay the $50 for it. Now, mind you, I'm like a huge One Piece nerd, so I was gonna fucking get it anyway. But I'm talking about for normal people, normal Americans, wait until it goes down. Wait until it goes down. In all seriousness. Now, for everyone else who's getting in as a physical copy and that shit. As a game in general, it's fun, but it's not gonna. But it's one of those games that once again is restricted by the fact that you gotta know the series. Like Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm is just a fighting game. You don't necessarily need to know the series to have fun in that game. And this game is kind of like that, but the story mode is gonna kind of I'll put it this way: do not use this as a way to like introduce them to plot elements in the series. Maybe as an introduction to see what the series is like. It's actually a pretty fairly good representation. But other than that, yeah. Also the fact that it's not in English will probably be the other turn off with this shit. There is no English dub for those who don't know. But I think I rambled on about this thing long enough. I'm pretty sure this video is like 30 minutes, 30 or 20 something minutes. But that's everything I have to say about Kazuko Muso, aka Pirate Warriors. It's a pretty decent starting point, but there's a lot of things I wish they changed in the future. And overall, this is the way I view it, because a lot of people are like, well, how does this compare with Ultimate Ninja Storm? I think this is a funner game, but Ultimate Ninja Storm has a better presentation. It's presented, I find this to be a really fun game. I have fun going through stages and beating up things. The Muso style is a lot more fun to me than the fighting style of Naruto because that's literally all you can do. Whereas at least the Muso games, you can like level up your character and do all this shit. I just think they need to balance the gameplay and have it be easier to do that because once you get to a certain level like 37, which is kind of ridiculous, in Pokemon 37 wouldn't even let you couldn't even beat a game on 37. Hell, like, just the fact that I can beat the game and be at level 37 is kind of ridiculous. I think the RPG method needs to be tweaked. Mainly just the leveling and the fact that and being easier to level as your level rises, like giving you more shit to do, expanding the game. Philip Bark, Skypea hinting at thing. Also do CGI cutscenes for story elements. Don't fucking do this text box shit. No one likes to read anymore. Just realistically, you're playing a fucking video game. You're not here to read a goddamn novel. Literally, you try to summarize these entire arcs. I would just watch the fucking anime at that point. At least then I'm seeing action and storytelling, like everything taking place. Just saying. But then again, if it's just a One Piece fan getting it, you probably already know all the elements anyways. So, that's about it. Sorry I've talked you to death. So, overall, this is a solid game. Price goes down, totally get it. You know, we're trying to get some more support for it in the States, and if they make a sequel, all these things they can easily improve on. Sorry I talked you guys to death, but if you want an extensive review on something, this is what you gotta do. You gotta talk about every single thing. Even the nitpicks, because for a game based around an anime or a TV series, the nitpicks kind of matter to an extent. So, this has been the Insane Game Freak. My voice hurts. If you watch this entire review, please write in the comments section. Actually, what should they write? What should you write in the? You should write in the comments section. One Piece Pirate Warriors 2, please. That's what you should write in the comments section. We'll make this like a random online petition with the review. Please, One Piece Pirate Warriors 2, please. That's what you write in the description. But anyways, thank you guys for watching. Life's a game, play to win. And I will catch you guys later. Peace.